welcome to episode 60 of Cinema Curse. Tonight, I'm having a superhero summer, a term that perplexed Daisygreen earlier. Sun's out, Gunn's new Superman movie is out, and we're also first talking about the Fantastic Four First Steps. I am your Wicked Game Master, Connor Lloyd Crews. I am joined today by Bri Robert.
How are you guys?
Daisygreen Stenhouse.
Hi.
Who's adjusting mic settings, and
Yeah.
three more people who are going to be joining late. I want to thank Marina Sakamoto and her band Shunkin for the use of their song Curse off the EP She Nods for our opening. It's been 631 days since the strike ended, and PTP still sucks. How are y'all?
Good. You know, as good as you can be in this world we live in.
This wild world.
It is a wild world. I'm dealing with tech support.
Live.
It's hot in my apartment.
Yeah, I have to
Classic LA.
To not get the AC pick up too bad on my mic, I had to close my room that has the AC on. But then when it's over, all the AC will have collected in that room, so that room's going to be fucking sick.
Nice.
That's
Nice.
going to be fucking awesome.
My air conditioner is 4 inches off the floor.
Yeah.
It's like an old school building. It does nothing. And I think my building is made of dirt, so there's no point in putting it on at all. But I think we're going to start our summer next week. I think it's going to actually start to get hot here, and then obviously not end until Halloween. So,
Well,
yeah.
Speaking of Halloween, a movie that has several sequences set at Halloween for some reason, the Fantastic Four First Steps. Which of you two want to describe the plot in 30 seconds or less of the Fantastic Four First Steps? Go ahead, Bri.
I hate doing these, so I'm just going to say
it's an easy one, I would say.
Yeah, Fantastic Four. You meet them, they do some shit, they fight Galactus, then they do some other shit.
It's a Fantastic Four. Nobody except my favorite superheroes that everybody still knows exactly who they are. And it's the Galactus Silver Surfer story, which is also I feel like if you know a kind of about comics, you kind of know that story.
This is why you and Scott are better at explaining these things from the comic.
I mean, you did a good job of explaining the actual story because it is, pretty straightforward.
I'm not as well versed in the superhero worlds.
I liked this one. I do think it could have benefited for me by being released before Superman, considering how much more I like that film. Where Superman feels like a film that was made front to back to be what it is. People can have issues with it, but they just feel like issues that are probably more like James Gunn as a filmmaker. This felt more like it felt super safe and controlled. Marvel just wanted to intro these characters and not fuck it up.
Yeah.
And I could have used another 15-ish minutes of character stuff.
Haven't a lot of people pointed out stuff that was by the way, I predominantly got my, sound stuff fixed. So that's great.
No,
now I can hear you both. But I feel like after it came out, people were pointing out scenes that had been in the trailer that were not in the movie.
I believe so, yes.
Which, I mean, I do find it generally sort of offensive to be talking that we are talking about 2-hour movies and how they should be longer. But I did feel similarly where I was I didn't get enough time with anybody.
I didn't need a ton of time. Like I said,
I didn't need a ton of time.
15 minutes, because Superman is exactly 15 minutes longer than this movie, and which would put it at 2 hours 10 minutes, which for a superhero movie really isn't that bad when you consider the fact that end credits are 10 plus minutes now.
Sure.
And so it's not you watch a movie in the 60s that's an hour 55 minutes long, there's going to be 30 seconds where they credit, you know, like
Yes.
the 10 actors and like 2 people who did storyboards, and then like I guess everybody else who worked on the movie can go fuck themselves.
And they have tricked us all into staying for the credits, even though the after credits scenes.
I enjoy them.
But I'm sitting there for 10 minutes for like one joke most of the time.
See, I like when the middle one is like a set off payoff and the last one's a joke. Personally. Sure. Because
I think just this one was sort of weak on any of it, especially like, I mean, I know obviously you can't do too much, but I think it's something more.
I also do on like very specifically nerdy. I mean, I am. How many people do y'all know besides me that have 2 Fantastic Four posters on their walls? You know,
I will say none.
And one of them is a framed like Mondo print, and neither are from any of the movies. These are like comic based ones too.
That was the one that Daniel and I were like, we were all trying to jump in and grab for you, right?
Yeah, I think so. That was one that was like a big one when that one came out.
When Mondo was dope too.
Yeah, this was like years ago.
Yeah.
But I do wish Natasha Lyonne, they should have just made her Alicia Masters. That's not going to mean anything to people who don't know Fantastic Four lore, but she's essentially just Alicia Masters, but with sight. And so they could have just made her blind and have her been Alicia Masters, because that's like the classic love interest. They also my poster over here on the wall, it has them, and then cradled in between them at the bottom on the top there's a bunch of like other hero characters that are like connected to them, but on the bottom in between them are Alicia Masters and my favorite character, and I wonder if they'll eventually do, maybe not my favorite character, but the character I would be most excited about that I would, if they did, I'd be like the meme, is Wyatt Wingfoot, which is Johnny Storm's best friend who he meets at college.
Fun.
Who's just a dude who just like comes along with them because he's like his roommate.
That's great. Well, okay, that actually I think segues to some of my issues with this movie, which were they were having such a not fun time. Mm-hmm. And I do like I went back and I watched the like 2005 one afterwards, which has a lot of problems. But what I will say is Chris Evans at the very least is having a blast in that movie, and like no one was having a blast in this movie.
That's fair. I've seen this critique like, other places too.
Yeah, like where it just
they're pretty reserved.
So, they're very reserved, you know, and I think partially this, like, now that we're in this like era of we're not doing the origin story anymore because we kind of all know the origin stories now, like just culturally, even if you're not a big superhero person, like you basically know. And they, I thought, did an exceptional job of like, I loved the way they did the origin in this movie of just the like, here's the news footage, you're seeing them before. I thought that was so well done.
It was really fun, and the style
really fun. The style was great.
It was so good. Like the tone, that visual sort of like tone and on this, I really like the score too. Also,
no, there were so. I mean, that I think to me is what was frustrating about this movie is like I thought it was cast well. I thought everything looked great. Everything sounded great, and like. I just needed a little more something from, you know, like I just wasn't invested in them that much as characters because I didn't see how they got there, you know, so I needed to still like meet them more and like live with them a bit more. And even just, I'm sorry, but like see them use their powers.
My other very like, very like fan base nitpicky is I wished Reed had used his powers in like some more interesting ways a couple of times, like
right, like that he didn't just stretch straight.
Yeah, like there's a point when he saves like a small thing towards the end of the movie, and like instead of just stretching down, he should have like held the thing with his arms, and his back should have became like a parachute or something. But I do feel like this all kind of feeds into the thing I was saying, where it feels like they were just like, we need to not fuck this up.
Right.
Like, and they definitely didn't fuck it up. But I do think I think in holding back and maybe not letting the movie be a little more, I mean, it's just like, you know, it's like when you see that there's like 4 writers on the movie, it's kind of like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it felt like very middle of the road in a lot of ways. And like, yeah, I mean, some of the powers too, I have to say, like what Reed is getting, I'm going to try to say this without spoilers, but Reed is getting stretched at a certain point, and he is stretched so not far.
Yeah.
And he's like at his breaking point. And I found that to be
like, gotta let go of.
But like, why? You know, like I want to see him stretch really, really far before we're in trouble.
I will say my understanding of like canon is that technically, because Reed's real superpower is his intelligence. Like the stretching is kind of like a secondary thing. And
okay, sure.
Like, but no. I mean, I know what you mean, but like in terms of the base superpower, like the thing is actually, I think, like technically the weakest one in a way. Like he seems like he's like the strongest on an outwards, but Johnny's like being able to like suck in all those flames and stuff. And then Sue, I think, has been established in the comics as being like the most powerful. Like there's like one point where she did like that fucking force field thing around the entire Earth in an issue.
Yeah.
And then Reed is like in between, because I think he did an experiment once in the comics where like he literally couldn't be destroyed because like he could be pressed so thin and stretch out so thin that it wouldn't matter, essentially.
Right. But I was not feeling that. I was feeling like this man is getting like, once he is past stretched like 15 feet, he's done for, which doesn't feel, which I also think fed into, I had a big scale problem with Galactus.
Yeah, well, Bri, you're muted.
I can't hear you.
Sorry, guys. I literally just got out of seeing it again, and that was a big thing that I picked up on was the sizing with it. You're like, that's it, huh? Like,
right. Like he's smaller than Godzilla. Like, what are we talking about?
Well, this isn't really relevant to the movie.
Are you going to say he shrinks from the ship to the Earth?
In the comics, he changes size. It's a thing.
Okay, but then show us that.
I know,
like thing.
Yeah.
But like, I need to.
That's why I stopped myself from saying it.
But like, yeah, show us that. Like, I'm happy to see the scale of like him and the shit. Because like a friend was sending me some stuff from comics after we saw it, and like in the comics, seeing that he's like eating these planets like apples, you know, and then, but all we see is this guy who is smaller than Godzilla show up on Earth and be like, I'm going to eat the whole thing. And I was watching him like, how are you planning to do that, sir? Like, you're barely as tall as the Empire State Building. Like,
and he just had a scan. Like Godzilla's like, he's causing chaos. Like left this guy.
I will say they kind of show that visually, how he's going to eat. The way this version of Galactus is seemingly, you know, more like Godzilla sized potentially, like, because he does seem to be bigger in the first big meeting scene with him than he seems to be later.
He did seem bigger than when he arrived.
And then I'll also say they show in that scene, and this is usually how it works, he has like that big machine that destroys and eats up the worlds and then like funnels the energy into him.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I just like, I needed some more. I was missing some moments to be like, I'm buying this guy as a villain, especially when like you kind of watch these movies always knowing they're going to win.
Yeah.
So so the like moments I needed more.
I actually wondered, because of the whole this being an alternate universe, if they were going to lose at the end, honestly. Like the first time I saw it, that maybe this was going to be how they show up in an Avengers movie, is at the end of the movie.
Sure.
Ends with
I
them.
thought it would have been really interesting, like, if someone had perished, you know, like, I do think that.
I will say, I'm being kind of negative. I still really enjoyed it. Like, and part of it is just I'm a big Fantastic Four fan, and so I'm largely satisfied. I like that it doesn't really take away from my own ideas for a series of Fantastic Four films. Like, I feel like in 20 years I could totally do those.
You'll take it a very different direction.
Yeah, it'll be a little more self-contained. I like there's just a bunch of stuff that I would say I like. I like that most of the action sequences weren't really just battles.
I did like that.
There was a lot more of them like saving people or like a chase, you know.
I liked the sort of heisty element, you know. I love a sort of plans. I love a plan. I love a thrifty plan.
I really like the space sequences, and like the visuals of Galactus there were really cool.
The whole sequence where they go in the ship was fantastic.
Yeah,
we'll try not to do any spoilers. Casey's here. You want to cover your ears?
If I knew,
I'm not listening. I'm not listening.
I loved I love Jack Kirby, so I loved all the little references to him, like the artists and stuff, and the thing at the end. And I liked you mentioned this, Bri. I liked the vibe of that world where like everyone was cooperating with each other, and people were like, "Yeah, we will go on a thing."
They own the world they live in, you know, like very much. Like that's...
Yeah. It is very wholesome.
And
it's like Jetsons-esque, obviously, it was the easiest, but it feels like that's the world, you know, that's what it was. Yeah, I don't know. Which is again that warm thing that you're talking about with.
I'd like to see more Marvels like this that have like a more distinct style. And
I did think that set it apart.
I think that
like a way to differentiate the universe world too when you're doing that.
You always see like like those hyper negative reactions that are like, it's like one thing to hate the movie or like to criticize studio and all that stuff, but like when people are like everybody enjoying the movie in the theater was like a slot pig, and you know, like, and it's just like, okay, why don't you fucking calm down.
That's just the film bro gatekeeping right here.
And
so like I said to you before this, I saw it twice now. I'm good. Like I'm not Superman. I'm excited to see that again after seeing that twice. I'm fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and honestly, if next time I even revisit it, is Doomsday going to be the next big Marvel thing, or
I think
they have
so.
another?
Yeah, no, I think there's gonna be like Spider-Man 4, Tom Holland's.
Okay, something to caveat. Okay, but for the most part, I'd be cool just seeing them then. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I almost want to give.
I did. Yeah.
I want to give. Well, yeah. Go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
There were a couple bits in terms of. There were a couple bits that trended a little funny that I think were not supposed to be.
Yeah.
And look, I get that it would be difficult for a parent to trade their child to save the entire world. But there were a few lines where they were saying that in such a way that I was like, okay, when you're saying it like this, I am like, give up the baby.
Yeah.
You know, and I was just, it's another thing of that, like, I was just missing, I mean, I think this was the very first thing you said, right? Of like, I was missing a little bit more of that time, a little bit more of that connective tissue. Like, I honestly just needed one person to say, like, well, if we give him like, he's going to do this to other planets and destroy other worlds, you know, like we have to stop him, you know, or like,
or even it seemed to be the idea was that if we give him up, then this baby is going to eat the earth instead. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. I just needed like something that was like, it's not the most obvious trolley problem we've ever scene. You know, like I just needed one more step, I think, to like stay with them.
I do also get it on the other side. It's funny that there are people like, we hate you for not sacrificing your child. Like that is that is like a wild
but I love the speech. That's all it took, you know. I'm sorry, but like, you know,
well, it makes sense that it only took that speech because she was basically, you know, Earth. She's like the first lady of Earth. Basically.
Right, First Lady of Earth saying, anything, like, hey, we're going to figure it out.
The way it's framed in the movie.
Guys, a white woman has spoken.
Listen, it's time to sit down and listen.
And everyone was like, listen, we got to do what she says.
But I also will say I knew, like, before the movie, I was like, did they just for like diversity's sake, which is fine, I don't really give a shit, like do Shala Ball over Norin Rad? And then like the second the first Silver Surfer scene happened, I was like, oh, that's why they switched it to that one. But what they should have done.
You just said a sentence that I have no idea what.
No, same. I understood about 48% of it.
It's the version of the character Shala Ball in here is not the typical Silver Surfer, which is Norin Rad.
Yeah, I know. It's like a dude, or
it's a dude. This is usually like Silver Surfer's like love interest. Right. But clearly,
I liked the vibes.
Yeah, I
liked
like
her.
that too. But also, they could have just made Johnny gay. So
they could have. You're so right.
Yeah, I know, absolutely.
And so often women's rights and gay rights are in direct opposition in that way. So
yeah.
Well, Scott, do you have a lot to say about Fantastic Four? We kind of already just been talking about it for a bunch.
I really liked it. I felt it felt very Fantastic Four to me. The part where it really sold it was the birthing scene. Yeah. Where it's just like, this is like, you know, I don't say an everyday thing, but something like obviously very much a part of life, a normal part of life, but on a cosmic level. And like at that scene, I was like, yeah, this is Fantastic Four. This feels like Fantastic Four. I like the whole cast. I could have used more Thing and Johnny. I thought they were good. I thought they got the characters, but we didn't get too deep with them. You know, like Ben especially was just sort of like, yeah, he's kind of sad, but whatever.
Yeah.
But not that sad. Not sad enough to really talk about. But
I will say it does kind of make sense to shift around like that. Like my ideas for my Fantastic Four series would like I imagine the first movie people would be like, why didn't these characters get as much development? It's like, well, because I'm focusing on these.
Yeah, I get that. But I just
touch the character and make it that character that you think it is. Could they like potentially pull that off, or is it the way that
potentially? I mean, like I think.
Because I like their vibe, and obviously I love Natasha Lyonne.
Yeah, I think her having a different name is actually not a problem, considering the fact that in the comics, Alicia Master, her name is Masters. Her dad, I forget her dad's first name, but he's the Puppet Master, the villain. So like her changing her name isn't a big deal, but I think her not being blind is maybe kind of a big deal because she's like very canonically a pretty major blind character, and it would be a little
she could
weird.
Become blind.
Well, that's what I was thinking. If they did some like weird accent thing that happened to her, the same of the four of them, you know, like she's now one of them. That's perfect logic to me. She's
one of these. She's. I think canonically she was always blind, and specifically part of that has to. She does like sculpting, and that like becomes part of her relationship with Ben.
Well, maybe, and this is a movie I would watch. The next movie, it's a love triangle between Natasha Lyonne and Ben and Alicia Masters.
Hell yeah.
We flip the script. It's like full rom-com, you know, just in the world of Fantastic Four. I like it.
Honestly,
I do
that kind of stuff is like some of my favorite. One of my favorite Fantastic Four issues by Jonathan Hickman is just about Peter Parker and Johnny Storm being roommates, like trying to be roommates for a while. And actually, something I was going to mention later, there was a one-shot that just came out called Spider-Man versus the Sinister 16, which is a weird title for it, but essentially it's about this, it's framed from Peter Parker's POV, but this this restaurateur in New York wants his place to be trashed for insurance purposes, so he invites a bunch of heroes and a bunch of villains to the restaurant in the hopes that they'll all start fighting each other and fuck up his restaurant, and he'll get the insurance. And then of course it doesn't really go that way.
Right.
And
that's fun. See, I think some hijinks like that could have benefited this movie.
I agree.
Because that is the thing that now that we're skipping over the origin stories, that's the piece that you lose is
fun
like how, the fun and games of like Johnny keeps lighting all his clothes on fire, you know, like, or like any of the things right before they've like mastered these skills. Like that's so much of the fun. Every time Spider-Man gets his powers and is like, how the heck do I do anything? You know, like that I think is so fun and has that like silliness where you get to like go from being, especially if it's a superhero who like was normal and then something occurred and now they're not normal, you know, like you get to go along that journey with them and be so much more invested in them because like I started normal too and now I'm along for the ride with you. And I think they just got to figure out like now that we're in this like later stage thing, like how to still bring us along, like how to still let us discover like I've been trying this new to stretch my abilities this way and oops, I made a mistake, you know, like I don't know, just something.
I think it's a good segue to talk about our next film.
Can I just real quick on that?
Yeah, go ahead.
I figure the best actually way to do that is if they did like a TV miniseries vibe or something, and each episode would bring you into one of those characters, and you'd get the whole like little origin story in that. Like that's a perfect series of like introducing character stuff. Just one per, and then obviously we could do crossover weird stuff, and then by the time the film is in the theater, you got all these other characters, you know, in a way that isn't like you have to live a whole series with them.
Sure.
Well, let's move on.
Although I'm anti having to watch the shows in order to go see the movies.
No, I get you. It's a good, how do you expand everything without, you know? So anyways, yeah. Next. Yeah.
Superman. I've got Mr. Handsome behind me.
Wow.
Scott, or well, Casey logged on. Casey, do you want to give us the plot, a summary, a 30-second summary of the plot of Superman?
Oh man, 30-second. Oh, where she?
Superman resolves the Gaza conflict.
Only 20 seconds to go.
Oh no! Yeah, Superman resolves the Gaza conflict. Gets majorly laid, and punches Elon Musk straight through the head. It drops you right in the middle of like an ongoing battle with Superman, and like this robot invented by like this dictatorial whatever kind of country, and Lois is like, oh man, why are you interfering with foreign affairs? Then all this stuff comes out about Superman that Lex Luthor has brought to the eyes of the world after breaking into the Fortress of Solitude, and basically gets everyone on the planet against Superman. This helps Lex Luthor because he wants to defeat Superman and tries to get partnered with the Department of Defense. And Superman basically goes on this giant journey to fix his reputation, but also find hope and belief in himself. And then there's a part where he goes into a pocket universe. I kind of forget how that relates to everything. Mr. Terrific there, he's terrific. And then in classic Superman fashion, saves the world, gets laid, punched Elon Musk straight through the face.
Yeah, it's sort of in a maybe like a shorter form. I would say maybe the best comparison. It's funny, you were talking about this like new superheroes, like new kind of thing where we're skipping the origin, and I do feel like Fantastic Four maybe doesn't do it quite as well as the others, because what all the other movies that have done this have done is essentially framed the movie as a like superhero coming of age story. So instead of it being an origin story, it is the superhero going. The Batman was like this a couple of years ago. Spider-Man Homecoming is probably like the first big example of this. We're seeing the superhero go from the sort of early version, like quote unquote adolescent in the like, you know, Freudian or Jungian or whatever sense, and become the sort of full mature adult version of that character.
Totally.
It's sort of like, like even if it's more than a year, they've done their year one, whatever that is. Like that storyline is over, and now this is year two. I
really loved it.
Yeah.
I saw it a few times. I loved it more each time. I just think it's like, I mean, I really like Gunn. I think it's a thing where you can just tell, like, you know, this movie has its one writing and directing credit. You know what I mean? And like you can kind of tell, I think. I just think it's like pretty, like, I've always thought. People will always talk about like, well, how can you do this movie if you don't have individual movies for every character before then? And I've always thought that was a ridiculous thing. And I think this movie does a good job of kind of proving my point in that, you know, you don't really need to do that if the movie is good enough. And like, you can just drop a character into an existing world and get the ball rolling. I thought that was just like a really interesting approach that we haven't really like seen fully yet in like a superhero movie before, in my opinion.
I think like my favorite thing about it, which is a realization I only came to thinking about specifically Clark and Lois's dynamic, is that above, like, I remember when people said this about the Batman, they were like, oh my God, I hope it's an origin story. And then people always say that about Spider-Man, and they're like, oh my God, I'm so sick of seeing, you know, him get bitten by Spider, whatever. Is that more than any other superhero, we know Superman. And I think actually every aspect of the movie is just like, you know this already. You have a general basic knowledge, and here's the rest.
Yeah.
I think it skips over everything that's absolutely unnecessary.
I think it helps that like it's been like a fucking half a century since we got a really proper Superman movie.
I did like that it was, like I didn't need any of that. Like I thought it did give exactly the right amount of information for like if you have somehow missed every single fact about Superman, like you can still watch this movie.
I mean, for like kids.
For kids who maybe won't know. Yeah, but I did love like I loved starting where we started, like just in the middle of him getting his ass kicked. I thought was really fun. And like
those titles are pretty hype. Like I remember seeing
the titles are great. Like, and just I really liked how we met him. You know, like I would say I liked the first half of the movie better than the second half of the movie. Like in terms of like I liked how we met him and meeting him kind of like on his back foot. I think it's such a fun way to meet a character. And then I will say, like, again, I hate that I'm saying this about movies that are over 2 hours, but like, I liked it. I didn't love it. And I think what I wanted more of I did want more. Like I wanted more of, I wish we'd gotten more than one scene of him at the Daily Planet. You know, like my favorite scene in the movie was, I just wish we had like a little bit more movie in the mix of like movie to fighting. Cause I will say like in most of these, right? Like during the fight sequences, I'm not watching those really that worried that that like everyone we know is going to die or something like that. Where like in that first, like in the interview scene with Lois, that to me was like the highest stakes of the movie, right? Because it's like I actually don't know. Yeah, like I don't know which ways this is going to go. Like I don't know if you're going to win this argument. I don't know if you're going to break up. Like, and I loved that he was like had the hubris of like, I'm great in an interview, and then is terrible in an interview, you know, like, so that to me is like those scenes when it's like character to character.
Yeah.
Those are higher stakes where I don't know how that's going to play out, where when it's like, is he going to save the world? Like, I know.
I do think this movie does a good job of like in those individual scenes, we see a lot more of those smaller stakes happening like moment by moment. Like I love the moment when he's fighting the kaiju. This almost feels like a direct response to Zack Snyder's version of Superman. But when he like catches the kaiju and it hits the wall and then he breathes fire and like all the people have to duck out of the way. Superman looks back and is like, is everyone okay? And then he realizes, oh, I need to direct the kaiju in a way that's not going to harm people. So he like moves up. And then we see at the same time when the other superheroes show up, they aren't as conscientious about that. And he's having to kind of go around and save squirrels, which is a great moment. And
that is
and that dumbass kid. What's she doing?
Why is she right there? Get out of the way, girl.
Yeah. I think they're just so used. I think that's a nice detail that they all just seem kind of used to like this kind of this shit happens. Like there's like a guy like eating pudding or something in one scene while like the kaiju stomping around.
I think this did. I mean, not to just like directly compare the two, but I do feel like we are all doing that because they came out 5 seconds apart. But like, I do think like overall the stakes of this one, like I think those moments where it's taking like, here's this giant battle scene and we are making it really individually one moment on one person. Like I do in that moment care more about that one person who I'm seeing than like if an entire building falls down and I'm not seeing anyone in it, I'm not like, gosh, did 1,000 people just die? You know, like, so I think those moments were done really well. And I think in general, the stakes being, I really appreciated, you know, as successful or not as it was, you know, I thought some of this was done sort of clunkily, but I did appreciate that it was like, this is a point of view about our current like world and political like affairs.
Yeah, do we want to talk about that for a second?
We don't have to talk about it yet if there's more to talk about, but
it part of it is just the fact that like this shit's always been happening. Like the U.S. has always been allied with shitty nations who have been committing genocides in other countries. It just reads specifically like Israel and Palestine, or I've seen other people say Russia and Ukraine, because of the fact that those are what's happening right now. But it's really funny because it is like, it's funny to see how like people on the right have like freaked out, like the right wing griftosphere, how are all like, and it's like they're like, oh, they changed Superman. It's like, well, no, you just haven't seen a proper Superman thing. You had like 10 years of this Ayn Randian Superman whose dad was going like, you should just like let a bus full of kids die. Fucking idiot. And like, I saw my two favorite critiques of the critiques is one is, I think, Ben Shapiro was talking about the movie and was talking about how like Superman stands for all these American things like truth and justice and private property, and it's like, what? Superman stands for private property. Like, what are you talking about?
When has he ever said that?
Yeah, like I don't know.
I mean, that is a very American thing, private property.
And then I also thought it was funny because one thing I love about this movie is the depiction of Ma and Pa Kent as being,
my God, I loved them.
Like much more homey, much more realistic. And some of these right-wing people have been like, they've degraded the Kents by making them, you know, unnoble uggos who I don't want to fuck. And it's like this is your demo. Like, what are you talking about?
Also, have any of you been to Kansas lately?
Yeah.
Like, that's what they look like.
Yeah.
James Gunn talked about, you know, he's from Missouri, and he said like he wanted to cast actors that look like people from Missouri, and you know that part, and not necessarily like aging movie stars. That's what he didn't want.
No, they
like
just
aging. You know.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
No, I will say across the board, cast wise. I loved that most people were unknown.
Yeah, it
like
was
or
a
not
lot...
known on this scale at all. Like it wasn't just here we're prancing out all of our movie stars in all their cameos, which is also like another huge departure from the Snyderverse. But yeah, like I loved that I was like seeing people who I recognized because obviously I'm
I know
a nerd
who
about.
like half these people are, but it's also
Yeah.
You know, we're film people. There's going to be a lot of people. This is like the first time they've ever seen them in anything. With like, I think the biggest
the first time they're getting introduced. Yeah.
You know, it makes sense that Nicholas Hoult got paid the most because he is obviously.
I was just gonna say, Nicholas Holt's the top bill, so you know.
Oh, is he?
He's technically not top billed, but he did get paid more.
Is he okay? I know.
You know what? That's more important.
Yeah.
But that makes sense. I mean, I think
put my name wherever you want.
Not significantly more. I think you know, I mean, this is not that this is an insignificant amount of money that I'm going to say. Just in the grand scheme of things, I think Nicholas Hoult got $2 million, and I think both David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan got $750,000, so like $750,000, basically. So
okay, yeah.
You know,
I mean, that is a big difference.
It is a big difference.
That's not insignificant.
It's not insignificant, but it's not.
I mean, he's the only one. Like he's coming from a huge franchise,
several.
A different huge franchise. Several. What other?
Well, he's been in like Fury Road, and he's been in all these other.
Oh yeah, you're right.
He just like he has a lot of like whereas like unless you're like a big. I mean, honestly, I was surprised that Rachel Brosnahan wasn't almost paid more than. I guess David Cornsweet has way more screen time.
Yes, I think you can't pay Superman
less than Lois Lane.
Third.
Yeah.
Of the group.
They did for the original. I think with Marlon Brando and Gene Hackman got paid way more than Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
In fact, they're billed before Christopher Reeve in the original Superman.
Yeah, but I don't think Margot Kidder got more than Christopher Reeve.
That's true. But I'm just saying, like, he can get paid third.
Well, that used to be more of a thing because Jack Nicholson is technically billed over Michael Keaton in Batman '89.
Right. But I like that vibe. I like the vibe of like the villain is the one that you like recognize and and then the hero is a bit more of like I think there's a good psychological thing to it too, where all of us for the most part are meeting David Cornsweet as Superman. So he is Superman rather than like, oh look, it's Ben Affleck,
Yeah, but Holt as Luthor is really great. He's like the biggest hater of all time.
Villain.
Love him.
I loved Mr. Terrific, Eddie Gathegi, and loved Crypto. Loved that fucking dog. I'm a big fan. One of my favorite comic book like Superman related characters is Jimmy Olsen, and I'm glad that we actually got some good Jimmy Olsen stuff.
I love Skylar Grisando too, so I'm like so happy for him to be on this stage. I wanted more screen time of his.
Oh, I mean I did too, but I think we're gonna get.
I think we will.
I think we're gonna get a show. I don't think it's gonna be like an origin. I think it's just gonna be. You'd be surprised the kind of hijinks Jimmy Olsen gets up to. There's like all.
I think they already said something was in the works, didn't they?
They have, and. Because he's had a lot of actually comics. I think he's had more comics than Lois Lane actually. And he has a lot of comics under it's like Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, and it's always like some scientist like takes him and turns him into a giant monster that Superman has to stop or something. Like that's like the normal.
That's great.
It really should be called Superman's pain in the ass.
There is this great 12-issue miniseries under that title by Matt Fraction a couple years ago that basically involved like a plot by Lex Luthor that they were trying to like assassinate Jimmy Olsen, and he had to like go to all the different like cities, like one issue he was in Gotham, one issue he was in the fucking gorilla city that Gorilla Grodd is from, that would be cool as like a concept. And I just finish my actors list off. Beck Bennett as Steve Lombard in his couple moments. He got the biggest laugh I think every time I saw it with his like, why don't I have a seat? But and then also I always loved seeing Michael Ian Black. I love him as like the Tucker Carlson
Yes, I thought that was great.
Apparently, he's going to be in Peacemaker too. Like that's going to be a character within the DC. So
good for Michael Ian Black. He's one of my faves. So like,
get that money,
get
man.
that fucking money, and he's perfect. He's perfect for like that kind of role, you know.
Yeah.
I
did love. Oh, go ahead,
no, Casey. Yeah.
No, please. You've been waiting forever, Daisygreen. I'm sorry. Please.
No, I just on Nick Holt, who like I've been such a long time, you know, since Skins fan of. I did love what they did in terms of just like also grounding this movie as much as possible. Like I loved in his like explanation of why he hates, you know, Superman so much, like it really coming down to what I think is, again, like pulling kind of from culturally where a lot of like male violence is stemming from, you know, of like this person is making the rest of us look weak, you know, like this person is getting the things that we should have, and his, you know, his win is my loss. And like I thought that attitude and like I did think it was well done to take a lot of things that exist in this world that we currently live in, that is full of violence and bad attitudes and all sorts of shit and corporate greed and countries doing shit they shouldn't be doing, and finding a way to put that all into this movie, which like maybe didn't work every second of that they were doing it, but I did like see
work for me, baby.
I saw like what they were going for, and I was like, I can really appreciate this.
To add on to that with like Nicholas Hoult, Connor, you and I were kind of talking about this, and like the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, it's kind of cool that they didn't do like another Luthor land grab plot. Yeah. And then seeing it again, I was like, well, it kind of is a Luthor land grab plot. Like, but there's so much more going on, and there's so much more to this character that like it's easy to forget that. And that his speech he gives at the end is like, that's actually why he's doing this, and that's what this is all about.
Yeah. Right. And all these guys who are land grabbing all the time, it's like, okay, well, what's the actual emotional core of that?
Or that line when he's like talking about Superman being an alien, which obviously has like a clear like double meaning when it comes like modern day and immigration and stuff, which it's kind of always had that. I haven't looked completely into the history of this, but like, you know, Superman was created in the 30s while the Holocaust was beginning by two Jewish people in New York, while a lot of Americans were undecided about whether we should take refugees in. In fact, there's a lot of stories of that kind of stuff. And so this idea that like that wasn't always baked into the story is fucking absurd, because like obviously it was. Like there's no way. I mean, it's clearly also a Moses allegory, or is it Moshe in the fucking whatever, the Torah, whatever Jewish people call their Bible. But yeah, I think like that line he has where, you know, like the world is being ripped in half because of Luthor's like petty actions, and Luthor has that line where it's like, you're destroying us, like in the context of him being this alien, and it's like, I mean that's kind of it.
We can see who's doing the destroying.
We can see exactly who's actually doing the destroying. Hey, Daniel.
Hi, Daniel. I love the part where Superman looked in the screen and was like, oh, Daniel. That's my favorite part. I stood up and cheered, real suit style.
I imagined that.
Our theater actually rewinded the movie and played that scene twice. It's like, let's just see it again.
What I found really fascinating as an added layer to like all of the commentary that they were doing is the scenes in the Pocket universe really felt like a prison.
Yeah, 100%.
And, I mean, it's very much a prison, but just like especially the scene towards the end where everybody's like he's doing something, like all these people just like tearing each other to shreds purely for their own survival. is like one of the bleakest parts of the movie.
Even the monkeys, you know, I mean, obviously that almost the monkeys that are spreading internet hate, because like we know that happens. Like foreign countries have entire rooms full of people whose entire purpose is to go online and spread discord. You know.
No, I mean, I also thought it's obviously very relevant currently, you know, to have someone with way too much power snatching people off the street with no record of what they're doing and throwing them in a prison that, you know, is overcrowded and God, greatest country in the world.
Yeah. That land was promised to Moravia 3,000 years ago. Daniel, what did you think of Superman? We've kind of talked about most of the movie, and we're all largely.
I loved it. I think I like grew up a big Superman kid, but like that I've not really enjoyed much Superman since then. Even though I like rewatched them and I enjoyed it. Selfishly, like my like. It was my first movie back after having a kid, and also being like a dog parent, it like made me cry a bunch, and so that's a victory in my book. And it was one of those just like pleasant, like back in a theater, exactly what I wanted from a movie type of situations. I think it's like a cool take on the character, whether or not it's like pristinely comic accurate. I have a knowledge base that's limited in that regard, but I thought especially like the cast chemistry was so strong. Like I believed everyone was friends and wanted to kiss each other, which is important in a Superman movie. And I love that, like
especially Lex and Clark.
Exactly. And I also love that Lex was just like, his motivation is like, I don't like this guy and I'm evil. Yeah, like that works. Not trying to like grow an island. He's like, I don't like this guy.
I mentioned this with Scott, but like I like this so much more than the Jesse Eisenberg take for a lot of different reasons. But one, like I hated the idea that like Lex was just a crazy person who then decided to like hate Superman, and I like this version where it's someone who hates Superman so much it kind of
that he's become crazy.
It's driven them insane through it. Because especially that big speech he has at the end that ends with him doing the 1A,
right?
Where he's just like he's fucking freaking out.
Right.
Dude's bugging.
I mean, he is bugging. I think even just to what I was saying earlier of like the grounding thing of it, that it's like, I don't know, acknowledging too that it's the like this level of like hate and obsession is what is like turning people crazy and violent, and not like, oh, it's crazy people who are violent because they're crazy. And it's like, no, their brain is filled with nonsense, like, and hatred, and that is coming out in like an unreasonable action being taken.
It actually makes for a good double feature with Eddington.
And I liked, on the other hand, I liked the way they characterized Superman throughout the film. Like, I like that he never curses except when repeating that hashtag. Other than that, he never says a cuss word. He always is just saying like golly or darn. You know, I love like the detail of him wanting to save the kaiju. Like, he doesn't even want to kill it. He's like, I want to get this out of here. Like, we can find an intergalactic zoo or whatever the fuck.
I thought it was interesting too. You guys are making me want to see this again. I did think it was very interesting. Some of the like commentary too of kind of the like different, like there's this generational divide between his parents and him. You know, and of the kind of like, your parents may have wanted you to do one thing, or they may hold an opinion that is different from your opinion, and that's okay. Like, and I mean, that is also like hugely relevant, like in our world today, and I think with our generation and most of our parents' generation, you know.
And I think setting it in like kind of a world that feels like it could be real but isn't, I think is such a smart move, because I want to like have suspension of disbelief, and like I can imagine this, but when it's trying to be like grounded in like reality, it like feels false. Like it feels like I can't picture that because that can't be true. And so I like the like slightly, because they never go too far into the cartoony. It feels like I can picture this existing, and I wish it did almost.
Yeah. It feels like a few steps forward, not total departure from reality.
It feels like what it kind of says at the beginning, that, you know, there's been like the last 300 years, there's been like this slow divergence, but it's not like so radically different, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, I do also like, the best part about the Fantastic Four is the other side of it, which is that it's like this hyper stylized 60s world, essentially.
Yes, which going back and watching the 2005 one, I was like, the like retro future look is so timeless, which is so nice. Where the like 2005 version of the future is like aged like fucking milk. I mean, it's
the funniest thing about those, and when I'm done with this observation, I think we'll finish up with Superman, is that when Fantastic Four came out, like the new movie does a good job of like creating a tone that's kind of old timey in a way, you know? And well, what's funny is when Fantastic Four came out, that's not what it was. Like, you read it now and it kind of feels like that, but when it came out, it was actually a very big departure for comics, because you had a team of characters who were like arguing with each other. This wasn't Superman and Batman, who were just like perfect characters at that time, in the comics at least, who would just do right and you know, listen to your parents, kids. You know, this was a group of people who like had issues with each other and stuff. So it's interesting the way. I mean, that's just fucking time keeps on slipping. You know what I mean? Well, anybody got anything else on Superman? I was gonna real quick. Yeah, go ahead, Casey.
It's not really a Superman comment, but what I thought was the funniest part of my theater viewing experience, which is, as a preface, is so unbelievably relatable. I'm not making fun of these people at all. It was just hilarious because I do this and everyone does this. Very much the Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, pointing at the screen meme, is when Christopher Reeve's son shows up as one of the newscasters. Everyone whispered it, that it sounded like just everyone was saying it. They went, "That's Christopher Reeve's son." It was like, right, we get it. I'm pretty sure everyone in the theater knew that already, actually.
Yeah. I think he gives one of my favorite pieces of exposition in the movie, because it's so succinct. He's if people don't know, he's the guy on TV who's like, it looks like the corporate superheroes funded by Maxwell Lord have showed up: Green Lantern, Hot Girl, and Mr. Terrific. And then we don't get any exposition about those characters the rest of the movie. That's it. That's all we need to know.
Yeah. In case you missed it while everyone was whispering, that's Christopher Reeve's son.
Yeah.
You don't know who these people are.
Yeah. Like, who the fuck?
I was very taken with my favorite scenes in the movie were the interview and then their moment about punk rock happening while an action scene's happening in the background. I feel like that's kind of a Gunn staple of like something happening with a bigger thing happening, but it like all resonates that like the most important thing is still like a relationship and like a friendship to some degree. And I think that's kind of crazy that in like a movie of lots of great set pieces, the most standout one is the one that Superman's not even involved in, because it just like speaks to character. It's like a focus thing. And and Krypto's such a good boy. He's bad, but he's a good boy.
Yeah.
And that's what broke me. It's during that scene. There's like a line. I don't remember the exact thing. I've only seen it once, but he says he's not even a very good dog, but he's out there and he's alone and he's probably scared. And I was just like, okay, I'm not prepped for this. And I was with Connor, and it was
I love another Krypto moment I love is when he sits on Lois Lane's lap and it just becomes like a dead weight, which is like such a dog thing to do.
Yes. I loved him as a way of introing Supergirl too. I think that's a very fun.
To make like a throw off, what would be like a throw off cameo connecting to the story that the reason Krypto behaves this way is because she's going through things and hasn't had the time to train him. And I love that as like a connective tissue.
And I have a theory. The opening crawl omits 3 months and 3 days from its timeline. And 3 months we get in the movie. That's how long Lois and Clark have been dating. I think the 3 days, I would be curious to ask James Gunn about this, is how long Superman's been looking after Krypto.
Oh, interesting.
I like it. I like that.
One thing I want to say, like for both of these movies, one way to like describe them could possibly be silly, but I think a better way to say that would be sincere. Like they're both very sincere about their silliness and outlandishness. I remember when Man of Steel came out, one of the talking points was we're not trying to make a comic book movie. Like I heard, like Snyder said that, Amy Adams has said that, like that exact phrase. The point was like, okay, this is clearly something they were told by the studio to say or something. But I always remember thinking, like, well, you failed. I don't know what to tell you. You're making a movie about Superman, so
right.
And this one, both these movies, kind of like embraced like a Saturday morning cartoon feel without being childish. And I think they're a lot of fun. And so, yeah, I'm. It's interesting. It feels like with the comic book movies, we're sort of in a silver age right now. Like what it seems to be like audiences are looking for right now, which is sort of like a retro feel. Like, we've been doing this for a while. We're gonna get a little weird.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I think I'm sure you talked about this when it came out, but I think Thunderbolts was a good version of that as well. That's like.
Do we want to?
We're doing something different.
I want to switch to superhero summer. I'm going to switch my background real quick just to talk about. I've had a friend who's been going through some stuff. I've been going through some stuff, and so they've been showing me reality TV, and I've been showing them a lot of the really good superhero stuff. We also did a continuation for Monday Night Movie Night of our superhero series from last year, where we were watching like some weirder shit. But yeah, Thunderbolts also came out earlier this year, and I really like Thunderbolts as well. I could go back and forth if I like Thunderbolts or Fantastic Four better. I think on an emotional level, I like Thunderbolts probably better, but I think it has like a little more like meat in that way. But Fantastic Four has like the aesthetics and those characters that I love. But
yeah,
Thunderbolts also good.
I think Thunderbolts had more fun than Fantastic Four, which won me over.
I think Fantastic Four, again, we go back to the thing that they were so focused on not fucking it up, whereas Thunderbolts was allowed to be a little looser.
Yes,
it had a bit more personality.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
I was behind, so I watched Brave New World, which made me want to stop watching movies, and then I watched Thunderbolts, and I was like, oh, okay. Like I almost didn't watch Thunderbolts because Brave New World threw me off so much, but then everyone was like, no, it's good, and I was like, you guys always say this, and then I watched it and I was like, okay. But I was curious if anyone else felt this, that I really loved Thunderbolts because it felt like a movie that someone made in terms of like, I haven't even seen Beef yet, but I know the director, I felt like someone directed it, and I haven't seen Fantastic Four yet. I'm excited to. But the post-credit scene in Thunderbolts was so obvious that it wasn't the Thunderbolts director anymore, and it really threw me off. I was like, same actors. It looks the look is off, and the way that they're being directed is wrong. And I was like, that is so interesting to be like, okay, he got it, and now they're gonna have to try and capture it for like the big team up movie. And I'm like curious if they're gonna nail it, because was it for Infinity War that James Gunn was brought in for the Guardian scenes?
He didn't direct them, but he consulted on them.
Okay,
and
I feel like that'd be smart with these people that are attached to these characters.
I feel
like kind of give a little
maybe doing that.
I hope so.
And I know Ryan Coogler advised on like the Black Panther scenes in Infinity War and Endgame.
I think that's such a smart thing.
That is a smart thing.
I've also been watching a bunch of the old Netflix Marvel stuff, which is all okay-ish to good-ish. I mean, I really like the actors. Like the actors are all really good, and they embody them really well, and I would like to see them again. And also,
I see you have the greatest superhero movie of all time playing behind you.
Yeah. Well, normally I played at the end of the show, but I thought this would be a good time to play it like early and just keep it. Normally I play it during like the last 5 minutes. I showed my friend
Talk about a movie that was having fun. My God, I was having a good time at that.
And so was I.
Some classics. You were curious about what movies I would consider like some of the greats that I showed my friend Bella that she hadn't seen was the Spider-Verse movies, Batman, Mask of the Phantasm, and she had never seen Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, which
that's crazy.
That's my favorite. Like that's my actual favorite.
That's the best one.
Yeah, it was pretty phenomenal.
And then for Monday Night Movie Night, we watched A movie I'm not going to recommend, Mr. Freedom. More amusing in concept than execution. Watch the first 5 to 10 minutes, and then the second you get hit with the feeling of, is this going anywhere? Turn it off.
Yeah, because it's not.
Because it's not.
Nope.
We watched the Barbed Wire, the Pamela Anderson movie based on a comic.
Oh, how's that?
It's sort of like if Casablanca slayed. That's what I would say.
I mean, you've sold me on it if that was your intention.
And then we watched.
Hey, I will say about that movie real quick. Pamela Anderson, not great. She's committed to the character. They decided to make her sort of like a Snake Plissken, and that's just not
her vibe.
Choice.
Yeah. She's too sweet for that.
But she doesn't like embarrass herself or anything.
No. No, she's solid in it, like for a B movie. And then I actually watched twice. Because I showed this to Bella after watching it on movie night, because it's my favorite superhero movie that isn't like a big 2 movie, which is Super, also by James Gunn.
Oh yeah,
which is a very weird, very dark movie, but I love it. I love that movie so much. Now we got Peacemaker to look forward to, because the first season ripped. Excited for season 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, anybody else been having a superhero summer or anything they want to shout out, or are we
Yeah, now I saw K-pop Demon Slayers on Netflix. It's great. The music is really good. The animation it's from Sony, and it's kind of Spider-Verse-y again, just like with a real personality to it.
Nice.
And the story's worth, really good too. So I would recommend checking it out. I really like it.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. When is Spider-Verse 3 coming out?
It just got pushed to 27, I think.
Whenever Severance season 3 comes out, they'll come out at the same time.
God, 2027. Oh my God. Just don't even announce whatever.
Remember when it was going to come out a year after?
It was funny rewatching it and being like, yeah, this last 15 minutes, if they knew, they probably should have trimmed this a little bit, because like you have like a whole ass plot and emotional climax, and then you have like a 15-minute setup for your sequel. Like I like those movies a lot, but I like the first one more, mostly just because it doesn't have a like appendix of the last 15 minutes.
I didn't know.
Oh, okay.
So I loved the first one, and then I was watching the second one, kind of being like, God, it seems really late in this movie to be starting a new problem. and then it stopped, and I was like, oh, God damn it! I had no idea.
It does feel, yeah, that's a really good movie, but I think by not making it like purely Gwen's movie, they kind of fucked up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because,
I mean, what they are gonna force the hand on, which maybe is part of the intention, is everyone is gonna have to rewatch it before the next one comes out. And if they wanted to put it back in theaters for a hot second, they could just get all that money right away again.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Well, are we ready?
I did watch. Have you seen Danger Diabolic?
No, I wanted to see that for a long time.
It's kind of a spy movie, but it also feels like an old, like Adam West Batman a little bit, and it's super goofy and like super horny, and kind of misogynistic too. I'll just be realistic. But is like just a chaotic. It's directed by Mario Bava. Yeah. Which is, I don't understand. I do understand actually, but I don't understand. And that was my accidental surprise superhero adjacent thing that kind of ripped this summer.
Nice. Well, I think I'm just going to keep this going for the rest of the episode behind me, but I think it's
Twitch is going to flag you and then pay you money and be like, you're helping people see it.
Yeah. I think it's time for Connor's Wicked Games, sponsored by Chris Isaac. Every week, like Jigsaw, I like to play a little game. This week, Marvel or DC. As we talked about one Marvel movie, one DC movie. Very simple game today. I will read you a proper name. You will tell me 1, Are they from Marvel or DC? And that's worth 1 point. And then 2, what their super code name is, more or less, up to 2 points. So, for example, if I said Bruce Wayne, you would get 3 points by saying DC. That's Batman. There are at least 2 of these 12, however, that are neither. Identifying that is worth 1 point. Identifying who exactly it is up to worth up to 3 points. So, for example, if I said Ramona Flowers, you would get 4 points by saying neither. That's Scott Pilgrim's girlfriend who has all the X's. And
you also have to say the what publishing company put it out.
You do not need to do that. I might give bonus points for that.
I don't read.
I'm about to get 0 points.
Yeah, I'm about to say we originally Scott wasn't going to be here, and I was gonna I think Scott's gonna clean this up. I'll also say one other catch. The neithers could also potentially be something that Connor Lloyd Crews made up. Obviously, if this is the case, you can't give me any other details. So identifying one of these gives you 5 full points just by itself.
Wow.
And we'll start. I think we'll start with you, Daisygreen.
Great. Well, I already know my strategy is just going to be guess that it's one that you made up. Go for the full 5.
Yeah.
Well, what about Steve Rogers?
Steve Rogers is Marvel. That is Captain America.
Interesting answer.
Yeah.
Daniel?
Oh, yeah. Same.
Scott?
Same.
Casey?
I'm going to say the same.
Bri?
I gotta think about this one. I guess same, yeah.
Yeah. I honestly, if someone had said one of his other code names like Nomad or something, I probably would have given bonus points. But that's 3 points for everybody.
Wow.
Bare minimum for me, maybe.
Well, wait. So if someone else gives the right answer first.
Well, that's why I started with you on the super easy one. So now you get for the rest,
right. So
for the
now
next 4.
Fifth.
Yeah, at least. So Daniel, John Stewart.
That is. That's DC. He's a Green Lantern.
Scott.
Yes, that's DC. Green Lantern.
Casey.
Is it what Scott and Daniel said?
Bri.
Yeah, what they said.
Daisygreen.
That's a trick. That's Jon Stewart is on The Daily Show on Comedy Central.
All right.
He's called a silver fox in my home.
Well, that's 3 points for everyone except Daisygreen, because that is indeed.
My answer was also right.
Well, you didn't ask how it was spelled, because this
That's
Jon
true.
Stewart is spelled John.
Okay.
So
okay, fair game.
and this is the second most famous Green Lantern, the one who's about to become the most famous Green Lantern because of the Lantern show starring Aaron Pierre. Hubba hubba.
Wait, side question: If
what?
you play enough of Madam Web behind you, can we log it on Letterboxd, or is that weird?
That's 100% your call.
As someone who's properly sat through that movie 3-4 times, no, this doesn't count. You have to actually.
I don't know. I think us talking over it is just about matches, the ADR in the movie.
Scott, Norrin Rad.
Certificate.
This is actually a name I mentioned earlier in the episode. Norrin Rad. So I don't remember who was here.
Marvel.
Any idea who this could be?
I'll guess Fantastic Four.
Casey?
I'm going to say Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
And because I have nothing to lose, I'm going to say that's who the Silver Surfer is.
Bri?
Definitely Marvel. I'm going to go with Scott. Fantastic Four, generalized. Casey had to go.
Daisygreen.
I'm trying to think of what you were talking about in this, but it's not The Roommate, is it? I'll say Marvel and the Roommate that you talked about earlier.
And Daniel.
Yeah, it's Marvel, and I think Casey's correct. I think it's the Silver Surfer.
That is indeed the name of the original Silver Surfer. So I'm going to give... Everyone gets a point for Marvel. I'm going to give 2 extra points to Daniel and Casey. I'm going to give 0.1 to Scott and Bri, just because technically, he's kind of a Fantastic Four character. I mean, he's kind of his own thing, but, it's enough for me to give you something.
I only remember because his last name is spelled really funny.
Yeah, Radd.
That sure is right.
Incredible.
Casey, Blackagar Boltagon.
I'm gonna say that's one you made up.
It better not be otherwise.
I'm using my one you made up this time.
Bri.
It sounds like some bullshit.
Daisygreen.
Yeah, I think this is a Connor special.
Daniel.
I want to say it's Marvel. It just sounds like I don't 100% remember it, but I think I can't tell if it's a bit or not, so I'm gonna take a chance. I think that's Black Bolt, but that sounds too easy. That just sounds like a fake thing for Black Bolt. But actually, I think it's Black Bolt.
Scott.
What was the name again?
Blackagar Boltagon.
I'm gonna go with Daniel. I like Daniel's thought, so yeah, I'll follow that.
Well, you'll be glad you did, because you both get 3 points, because that is indeed the real name of Black Bolt, Blackagar Boltagon. That's my favorite name in comics. That's a Jack
one of my
Kirby
best
special.
friends has a full arm tattoo of Black Bolt.
Oh hell yeah!
And I only know that because he used to say that. I never clocked that it could be real, but then when you said it, I was like, okay, that has to be. It wasn't just a thing he said.
Bri, Al Simmons.
That sounds like a DC World domain.
Any guesses on who it is?
No, I have no idea.
Daisygreen.
I'm gonna say you made that up.
Daniel.
Sounds like a major league pitcher. I know. I think I know half of this, but I don't remember. I don't know. I think it's Spawn. I think Spawn's name is Al Simmons, but I don't. I think Spawn might be DC. I think Spawn's maybe no. Is he in? He's in Soul Calibur.
Can you give me a more proper, straightforward answer?
I'm gonna say Al Simmons is Spawn, and I don't. I don't know what it's from, but I don't think it's from Marvel or DC.
Scott.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's neither, and I also thought it was Spawn. And is that comics?
Is that what?
Spawn, like, I know it's not Marvel or DC, so I was gonna, like, for an extra point or whatever. Is it Image Comics? That
I'll log your response. Casey.
I'll log your response. Yeah, the minute Daniel pulled out that notepad, I was like, he's serious. So I'm gonna steal.
I remember the names.
I'm gonna steal Image Comics and Spawn.
Yeah, it's smart move.
That is indeed a smart move.
Just a bunch of cheaters at this game.
Well, I'm gonna give here's
I feel like over explaining it is bad on my end.
Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give 4 points to Daniel and Casey. I'm gonna give an extra point for Scott for knowing that it was Image.
That is fair.
You did just copy him, Casey, unless
That's the whole point of going last.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? You're right. I'll give you the extra point. Fuck it.
There's like the DC.
I'm annoyed, but also with you on this, Casey.
No,
isn't there like a DC Mortal Kombat game and Spawn's not in it, but Spawn's in Soul Calibur?
They've all crossed
2.
over at some point. If we get into those weeds, like it's all one big thing. It's all a big clusterfuck. Technically, Conan the Barbarian's a Marvel character. Don't think about it too much. Daisygreen, Quentin Beck.
I hate that I'm going to say whatever I'm going to say, and then everyone's going to be like, well, that's obviously this really major character.
Well, they're becoming less obvious.
Okay, Quentin Beck. I'm going to say you made that up.
Daniel?
I believe that is Marvel Mysterio.
Scott?
I also believe that is Marvel Mysterio.
Casey?
Since everybody got mad at me last round, I'm going to be honest. When you said it, I didn't know, but I remembered Jake Gyllenhaal. So I'm going to say, I don't know. I think you made it up.
And Bri?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Mysterio there.
Yeah, so that's 3 points for the gentleman who would go with actually Mysterio. I get Casey. I'm giving you a 0.1 for
honesty,
for being honest and stuff.
I don't want the points.
See, Casey's not used to being honest.
If you say you don't want points, I'm going to increase the amount of points I give you.
Please, God, no.
All right,
Wait, what?
you now have 0.2. This next one's going to start with Daniel. Stephanie Brown. These two are the normal sound. These is like the normal sounding names.
I went to high school with her.
Yeah.
Stephanie Brown.
I'm going to need an answer, sir.
I'm gonna go for a half point. I'm gonna say DC.
Scott?
Marvel.
Casey?
Yeah.
Gonna say Marvel. 50-50 shot. No idea.
Bri?
What's the name again?
Stephanie Brown.
How's it spelled?
Stephanie is Stephanie. I think like normal, and then Brown.
And what's their first appearance in comics?
I can't say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Bri?
She sounds like a tennis player in a world. I don't know if it's ours or
Marvel.
not. I'm gonna say Marvel. I don't know
And
where she did.
Daisygreen?
I think that's DC and it's Madam Web.
Well,
Nice.
Madam Web is Marvel anyways, but you do get...
I'm splitting my options.
You and Daniel get 1 point. Stephanie Brown is known as, well, one, she's kind of the only female Robin that's ever existed, and she also goes by the name Spoiler these days, because she spoils crimes.
Okay.
4, 5.
Well, I'd be great if she spoiled movies.
Yeah.
What the fuck, spoiler?
Yeah.
Is this still Madam Web behind you?
It is still Madam Web behind me. Scott, Rot Lop Fan. This is 3 words. They're spelled ROTLOPFAN. Rot Lop Fan.
That's one you made up.
Casey?
I'm gonna say Marvel.
Bri?
Yeah, I don't want to think that you made that one up. That's like where were you coming from for that? So I'm gonna say yeah, I'm gonna say DC just to shake it out.
Daisygreen?
I think that's Madam Web.
And Daniel?
Can I ask what number we're on?
There's 4 more after this one.
Testing your odds on made it up.
Yeah, I was gonna say Daniel's crunching numbers
So
right now.
8.
Testing us odds on neither.
Yeah.
Casey said Marvel. I'll say DC to have a chance. I have no idea what.
Awesome. Yeah, no, fuck me for sure.
We started with you, Scott, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, whoever said DC gets 1 point. This is a Rotlop fan. Is one of my. I actually have an action figure of him because he appeared in the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern years ago. But he's a Green Lantern. He is not Taika, but he's like a big bug, and technically he's like blind, so he doesn't understand the concept of green. So instead of having a Green Lantern, he has an F-sharp bell, and his Green Lantern mantra that he says is based around F-sharp bell instead of Green Lantern's light. So he rules. He's like That's really cool, actually. He's like, what if a big bug was a superhero?
Okay, in the scene that's happening behind you right now, Connor, when you guys watch this movie, do you notice that she simply does not ever open this can of Pepsi?
Oh, no, that is the best marketing tool. She has to display that in every shot she can.
She's in, but she doesn't open it. She just plays around with this can for an entire party and never pops it. Never drinks the Pepsi.
They should just redo this movie with Tim Robinson in her role, not change the script.
It's her
shot for shot remake of this film with Tim Robinson. I do think that could win the Palme d'Or, honestly.
That sounds like pretty. You're right. That's smart.
The Pepsi can is her fidget device.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's she's stimming with it. Casey, Pete. No. I started wrong. Parker Peterman. Parker Peterman.
I love the idea that that's like a Spider-Verse guy. That's like the opposite of the spider that turned into a man. I'm gonna say that's what I'm gonna say. You know what? I'm gonna say that's Marvel, and he's just spider turned into a man.
Bri?
I'm gonna go the same. That just seems like that has to exist in Marvel's Spider-Man.
So when I copy, it's bad. Okay.
Well, yeah, because honestly.
Okay, I had this original thought before Casey said it, which is it did sound like a Spider-Verse Spider-Man.
Daniel?
So I will say that as well.
I've always referred to Peter Parker as Pete Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And so I like believing that Parker Peterman is a real Spider-Man, so I'll say Marvel Spider-Man.
God. Scott?
Oh my God.
The second you said that name, the first thing I thought was it's got to be Marvel. It's got to be some sort of like man spider or something. And that is a Scott Heaton original.
I'm going to give everyone 2 points because, yes, it's Marvel. Yes, it's a Spider-Verse character. You would have gotten an extra point. This is a version where he actually grew a bunch of extra limbs. He grew 4 extra arms.
More spider than man.
I got to be honest, that sounds a lot like what Casey was saying. That he's like a...
But he didn't. It wasn't the reverse. It wasn't
Is he in the Spider-Verse movies?
Spider.
He might be. There's have you seen the second one? There's 1 billion of them on screen.
There's 1,000.
I thought you were a fan. I'm sorry, we don't know the trivia, but don't get mad at me.
Next up, we're gonna start with Bri. Dirk Spug.
I worked with a guy named Dirk. That's crazy.
Like a character in Fight Club.
Yeah, you worked with Dirk Diggler.
In a professional setting.
We haven't done it yet, so I'm just gonna play out. There hasn't been one where it's made up yet.
Made up by me?
Yeah.
Okay. Daisygreen.
There hasn't been one, right?
Yeah, there hasn't one.
Yeah, there has not been a made up by Connor, so I'm gonna do that as well.
Daniel.
I'm weighing the odds. I think you made this shit up.
Scott.
I don't want to lose out on the 5 points. I mean, it's true. So yeah, you made it up.
Casey, are you gonna join the crowd?
Yeah, his name is Dirk Spug.
Yeah,
all the copying Casey's got to do right now.
That is a name that's been rattling around in my head for years. I've wanted to make a D&D. Everyone gets 5 points. I've wanted to make a D&D character named Dirk Spug.
It's a good name.
I really want to make a a D&D character called Carbon Neutral.
To be honest, Dirk Spug, I can smell that name.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah. He's a Carbon Neutral's like a monk in D&D.
Okay.
Dirk Spug is like a barbarian, I think, probably.
Carbon Neutral, also a good drag queen name if you want to take it a different direction.
Ooh, that is very true.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right, we got 2 left. Daisygreen, Alfred Beagle.
I'm gonna say neither.
Okay.
And or wait. Do I pivot and I say DC and that's Crypto's dog's human dog name?
Human dog.
Is that what you're going with?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Daniel?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna say DC, and that's not right, isn't? I forgot Batman's butler's last name. That can't be right, but I'm gonna stick with it. I think it's the butler guy.
Scott?
I'm gonna say DC Comics. But I'm gonna say like Super Pets or something. Like that's the dog version of Alfred.
Casey?
I'm also gonna say DC. I don't know who that is.
And Bri?
Yeah, it's DC. It sounds like Batman's dog. Alfred's got to walk. They meet up with Crypto.
I'm gonna give you half an extra point for associating it with Batman, Bri. And I'm gonna give you the full points, Daniel, because that is indeed, and everyone gets a point because everything everyone thought was from DC. That is Alfred Pennyworth's original name. Because yes, for most of his history, he has been Alfred Pennyworth, but early on, he was a much more rotund, bumbling kind of guy named Alfred Beagle. Then I think after some serials in like the 40s, where he was played more like what we think of Alfred as like a thinner, proper, English guy.
Yeah.
I got caught up in Pennywise, and I was like, "That's the clown. That can't be Alfred's last name."
No, it was Pennyworth, but I'd never heard that about Alfred. That's interesting.
I got caught up in Beagle, and I was like, it's gotta be a dog.
All right, last one. Daniel, we'll start with you. Anung Un Rama. It's three words. ANUNG.
I'm gonna stop you because I think it's bullshit.
UN and RAMA. You think I made this one up?
Yeah.
Anung Un Rama. Scott.
Very satisfying name though.
I'm gonna say Marvel, but I have no idea from where.
Casey.
I have no idea. I'm on any of it. Leave it.
Right.
I'm gonna say Marvel, but I have no idea from Marvel.
Daniel. Daisygreen.
I'll say Marvel, somewhere in the Doctor Strange universe.
This one is neither. That is the proper name of the hero known as Hellboy. His original. Yeah. That's his like Satan name.
Who's Hellboy from?
It's Dark Horse, but it's the Mignola universe. It's its own. I mean, that's got to be like. That's probably like the third biggest superhero universe in the or it's like that and like Invincible are probably like competing for what
you couldn't place him in Soul Calibur, so I didn't know.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Daisygreen and Bri, y'all did not place. Daniel gets the gold, Scott gets a silver, Casey a bronze.
Hell yeah.
So
let's go, bro.
Congrats, y'all.
The full points
Can't
at the
say
end.
I'm surprised by not winning.
Daniel, you had 31. Scott 26.1. Casey 22.2. Bri 19.6, and Daisygreen you had 13.
Hell yeah!
Oh yeah, 22.2.
That is 13 more points than I thought I would have.
Hey,
I also just remembered what my sort of superhero summer is that I saw Aliens for the first time. Ever and saw it in a theater.
Wow, that's a great way of
saying
Hell yeah. What a fun movie.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Scott, do you want to do your segment?
Yes.
All right, let's cut to Scott for.
All right, welcome to Scott's Comic Corner, brought to you by Eric Clapton and Mole People. Support your fellow mole person. Continuing with the theme of the episode, we're going to do a summer tie-ins. First over at DC, it's the Summer of Superman. So we have the Superman title, number 27, is the end of sort of the storyline that's been going since they restarted it at Superman 1, which is the end of the Supercorp storyline. For a while, Superman was in charge of LexCorp. It got renamed Supercorp. Lex is in jail. They were working together. First, reluctantly, for a while it was going on. There were other storylines that happened throughout this, but that's all wrapped up. It's back to LexCorp. And Superman is, in this series, the Superman series, he's going to be involved in the All-In storyline that's happening. That involves the Absolute Universe, which is sort of like DC's Ultimate Universe. And the regular universe, they're going to be coming together. It's a big storyline. I haven't been following it that much, but I know that this series is going to be involved with that pretty heavily, which brings us to a new Superman series that just begun a few months ago, Superman Unlimited. A big deal about this is it's one of the first new Superman story series to start in a long time. It's written by Dan Slott. This is sort of what they say is going to be like modern day Superman. So, like, while Superman's traveling through time in the other series, in this one, you're going to get your regular Superman in Metropolis story. The storyline happening right now is that a comet, a kryptonite comet, came to Earth. Superman stopped it. It weakened him. But now that when it landed on Earth, kryptonite is now a metal in that Earth that a lot of people have. So it hurts Superman. He's more vulnerable than he's ever been before. The first 3 issues are out. I've enjoyed them. They're pretty good, so check that out. Another series that's just begun is a Supergirl revival written by Sophie Campbell. It's been a lot of fun. She's not as, I guess, sarcastic as sometimes she always is, but it's still been a fun beginning of her storyline. And then the other one, which will also tie us over to Marvel, we got Crypto is getting his own series, a mini-series.
Yeah.
It's written by Ryan North, who writes Fantastic Four and One World Under Doom. I like Ryan North a lot. He's a good writer, and it's a good Crypto. You know, it's fun. In the second one, he meets Luthor. What I really enjoyed about it is that Crypto does not get thought bubbles, or he doesn't speak. But you always know what's going on, and he saves the day. And Ryan North is a very good mixture of like the fantastic but the sentimental. I thought the scene where Crypto gets sent away, he gets like caught in a wormhole. Essentially, they're testing the machine they're going to send Clark in. With Crypto, and he gets sucked into a black hole, and them saying goodbye to him, I thought it was a very well written scene. But speaking of Ryan North, they're restarting Fantastic Four for the movie. So Fantastic 1 just came out. And so it's basically just a new plot line. They've been separated by Doom because the One World Under Doom storyline is still going on. They're separated through time, and they got to find each other. So what will they do? I don't know. And then finally, I just, most Marvel comics, comics in general, they'll do a tie-in issue. So I picked up the tie-in for Fantastic Four. I liked it. It was it's essentially their first adventure. When they get their powers, when they finally have to come save the world from this. And Mole Man's in it as well. I remember I read this before the movie came out. And I remember thinking, I like the characterization they have of Reed and Sue. If they can do this for the movie, I think we'll be in good shape, which we were. So, yeah, that's what Marvel and DC are doing right now, just the tie-ins for their movies. So check them out.
Oh, yeah. The Crypto thing you were talking about reminds me of when there's that issue of Hawkeye that focuses on Lucky, the pizza dog that Matt Fraction wrote, and it's all like illustrated like through like it's all like largely in black and white, and instead of thought bubbles, the bubbles are like concepts, like images. Like it's like it's like a much more like basic understanding. Like we see the dog figuring stuff out, but it's very like symbol and broad concept based. And when like the human characters talk, it's like scribbles, walk scribbles, and then like the specific words that that Lucky actually knows. But yeah, anything else? I'll get him motherfucking into genocide in Palestine, Kongusi, and everywhere else. I don't have anything else to shout out today, but if anybody else does, well,
no.
I shouted out Wrong on our last episode because
I was just gonna say we had a very fun show last night.
Yeah.
Next show is September 10th.
What day of the week is that?
Wednesday at 8 is our time slot. It's going to be for the rest of the year. It's the second Wednesday of the month.
Because there was a minute there where you were doing it like Mondays or Tuesdays, and I couldn't make those.
Yes, now it's Wednesdays.
Yeah, Casey.
What is the? I love the little point, Daisygreen. Thank you so much. What is this that you're talking about?
It's it's
Wrong, a fucked up game show. The host will be walking through the door any minute now.
Her beloved.
Yes.
Her betrothed.
Yeah, it's a dark comedy game show. So we have it's at the Comedy Store. We have 3 comedians compete for some made up points. They play some fucked up games that we made up. Last night we played a new game called 6 Degrees of Jeffrey Epstein, where they had to connect a celebrity back to Jeffrey Epstein, which they're all in striking distance. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I feel like.
I'm saying, did anyone need 6?
No. No one was over 4.
I feel like the core concept of Wrong is you find comedians' old tweets where they say something really fucked up, and then you have them read them on stage. That
is a game we play often
in order to embarrass them.
That is one of the games we play. Yeah, we always play like one game where we've researched them and like dug up shit they've said or like weird things they've done.
There's
and
like a psychological
make them answer to it.
Torture aspect.
Element, yes.
Yeah.
And then there will be sort of a topical game that's like, hey, the world is also fucked up. Let's see, who knows Jeffrey Epstein personally.
This sounds great. It's
really fun. Yeah. Definitely. Now that it's
Yeah.
Wednesdays, we should get a group together.
Once a month, second Wednesday at 8. Come on by, September 10th. We'll be playing a classic game of ours. Now that's what I call songs that were banned after 9/11.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Timely.
Hell yeah.
I'm going on a fucking flight the next day, so pray for me.
Yes.
Because it's a bad day for it.
What a reminder you'll want right before that flight.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll be sure to film I'll put like Lost, Pilot, and Final Destination 1 and Snakes on a Plane. I'll load those all up on my laptop. Castaway. Fucking what's that movie that came out like a year or so ago? The Society of the Snow. It was but yeah, we'll be back in a couple weeks with our 2-year anniversary. I believe we've decided Edwin's pick for our 2-year anniversary is going to be this movie called The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, which I've never fucking heard about, and apparently is some like Hudson Hawk type thing with Andrew Dice Clay in it.
What's it called again?
The Adventures of Ford Fairlane. And then we're going to be watching, partly because I just wanted to watch it for a while, and partly because I know Edwin's dreading watching it, so I can't wait to force him to watch it. Color of Night, which I know Daniel has seen and highly recommends, which is a sleazy American giallo that I've heard is like genuinely kind of offensive and stars Bruce Willis. Twin Peaks Club will be back after that with a epilogue to talk about Eraserhead. I want to thank Bri here for composing our outro. I want to say follow us at CinemaCurse666 on TikTok and Instagram. On YouTube, smash that like button, like and subscribe. Share this episode with your friends. Share this episode with your local comic book artist. That was an easy one today. Yeah, let me look at my end of show notes. Closing credit. Shout out to the next episode. Plug socials. We're good. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.